again joining us this morning. He created his own one-car team back in 1990. Has only expanded from those humble beginnings ever since, including 115 IndyCar Series wins and 13 NTT IndyCar Series championships. We say good morning to Chip Ganassi. Back for another year with Chip Ganassi Racing, driving the number 8 Husky Chocolate Honda. We welcome Marcus Ericsson. He returns to drive the number 9 PNC Bank Chip Ganassi Racing Honda. He's the 6-time NTT IndyCar Series champion and 2008 Indy 500 champion Scott Dixon. He already claimed 1 win this season, driving the number 10 NTT Data Chip Ganassi Racing Honda. We say good morning to Alex Palou. And returning for his 20th Indianapolis 500. He's the 2013 500 champion, driving the number 48, the American Legion Honda. Good morning to Tony Kanaan. Let's start with Chip, and just expanding back to 4 cars this season. Scott, Alex, they're 1-2 in points heading into the 500. Part of the unique mix of veterans and youth for your team this year. How's it gone so far, Chip?
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Good morning, everyone. What a great thing to come off the year, being champions last year with Scott, and obviously some great opportunities in the off season with the Tony Kanaan, Jimmy Johnson combination, and bringing someone on board like Carvana and the American Legion has really opened our eyes, to some of the things. The American Legion, just for instance, they have this reputation of being a old smoky bar somewhere, with a bunch of old guys sitting around, and you realize that's not it at all. The stereotype doesn't fit the true mission of the Legion and what it stands for, what it does. Just all the things, how they were responsible for. Just one little tidbit of information about the American Legion. I don't want to belabor the point, but they were responsible for the GI Bill. They were there who lobbied for the GI Bill, that created the middle class in this country. So, as history shows. So just things like that the American Legion does that for me, well, I had no idea. I just thought it was a club where a bunch of guys went around and, smoke cigarettes or cigars or whatever, So
sponsorship's paying off in many ways.
Yeah. So it's really interesting to understand that. That was probably the most exciting thing of the off season. Obviously, continue with Marcus Ericsson in the 8 car. Palou in the 10 car, brought him on. Excited there, and then we got the team leader, the man himself. So it's good.
You mentioned Marcus Ericsson back, second season with the team. Is there a different comfort level for you, Marcus, after 1 season on your belt with this team? You come back here, come back to the 500 as well. Is it a little different feel for you?
Yeah, for sure. It's different coming into a second season with the same group of people. It just makes a big difference. I think you start from a different level already from race 1, and I think we've had a strong start to the year. We've been fast everywhere we've gone. Had some bad luck in a couple of races that's put us back. But we go into this month really confident, and I think we've shown in testing so far that we are strong and fast.
The more things change, the more they stay the same for Scott Dixon, leading the points again, eyeing a record-tying 7th NTT IndyCar Series championship. But I have a feeling that can wait. It's all about the 500 the next couple of weeks for you. How has this week gone so far for you, Scott?
Yeah, it's been great. I think it's fantastic to see this, the team having such a strong run. For the start of the season. It was great to see, Alex come out of the box and capture his first win, and that was big for all of us, So excited to always be here at Indianapolis. Typical first week, you have your highs and lows, and you feel like King Kong, and then you feel pretty crappy after some sessions. But that's what this place offers. So I think as a team, we've done a good job of sticking to what we need to and getting through the test lists. And yesterday in the debrief, I think everybody was fairly happy with the race cars. We've probably stuck it out a little bit longer on the race car side of things than some of the other teams where we've seen a lot of qualifying runs already happened. So, we'll see how today goes. But confident for the team. I think they've done a tremendous job. They've worked extremely hard in the off-season, as they do every year. But, I think now it's the engineering group especially is working really well together. And, hopefully that plays true, obviously, for this weekend, but also for next.
And you mentioned Alex won the season opener at Barber Motorsports Park, another podium since, and the momentum's certainly growing. Do you allow yourself to think about what it might be like to win an Indianapolis 500, or you just kind of take it one day at a time?
Yeah, morning everybody. It's been great start of the year. Felt super comfortable with the number 10 car. I know the team, and it's been a great start so far. But yeah, obviously we want to win. I think we have strong cars, as Scott said, and Marcus said. We're feeling comfortable. The car's been running super good on traffic, and let's see today on Fast Friday. But super happy so far. But obviously, we all thinking. I think all the drivers are thinking on winning next week, and I'm thinking the same.
Sure, for sure. And last but not least, I think he said he was going to retire like 2 or 3 years ago or something. Now he's back once again. Tony Kanaan, fastest in practice yesterday. What's it been like to return to Chip Ganassi racing, and certainly at such an important race?
I mean, it's been amazing. I remember when I announced that, my best friend here says, this is not happening. And then, I got the phone call from Chip. I thought it was a prank because it's just, I couldn't really believe it. So I can't thank him enough for the opportunity. Jimmy, American Legion, all the sponsorship. Chip was saying, I mean, it's really like, I already have a pretty good fan base around this place, and it just has grown even more. Every single person that approached me this week, it was either a veteran or a guy that is part of American Legion, so it's awesome. So, and come back to a team that is, it's just the team that you wanted to drive for your entire life. It's awesome. So at this point of my career, I told Chip, I'm here for one thing. It's to win. I have nothing else. I have 4 races. Now it's actually down to 2 races to go for me. So we're going to try to go for it.
All right, let's go ahead and open it up for questions. Jenna Fryer from the Associated Press. Good morning again, Jenna.
Good morning, everyone. Tony, you were fastest on the speed chart yesterday. What does it feel like to be in a fast car again?
Oh, Jenna.
I mean, I'm not asking you, but
no, I understand.
Driver, yeah.
It's the reality. We're not here pointing fingers or anything, but it's just the way that Chip has his team. I mean, when I left, we always left in good terms. I didn't feel I actually had delivered to him what I should have, and it was time for him to try something else, and so did I. And you don't realize how good you have it until you leave, and then you come back. And the team that you come back to, it's even stronger than when you left. So it's pretty amazing, and you see the differences. I think, I will never forget, I met Chip back 15 years ago. He told me one thing that actually stuck in my mind. He says, when you hang with losers, you become one. When you hang with winners, you win. And again, it's just nice to be back. I mean, the opportunity that I got at this time, at this point of my career, it's really unbelievable. So it feels nice. I mean, the week goes a lot smoother when you have you work out. We have 4 teammates, 3 teammates that are really good. We can run together, we can understand what we need, and so on. So it's much easier for sure.
After you left last year and you're thinking this is probably it, now you're back and maybe you can win this race. I mean, how do you feel? You
had the mindset that you're slowing down, then somebody changes that. Now you go, all of a sudden, it's okay to do 4 races. Now you want to do more. Like, can I do more? And then it's the same thing. I see Jimmy text me, says, man, I'm dying. I want to be in the car. I said, don't you even think about it right now. So that was not the deal. So, it just, honestly, Jenna, the way my off season went was awesome. Even people that know me said, I hadn't had that spark in a long time, and I think I didn't realize that. I think I needed something like this to happen, but probably I couldn't believe. If you had told me that was going to happen, like, I was going to say, you're crazy. That's, at this point, I've done everything and so on. So I'm happy. I'm enjoying it, and I know I can win here, and I know I'm the right team. If that's what's going to happen or not, we'll see. But I think, we'll do everything we can to make one of these cars to win this race. That's the goal.
Chip and Scott, can TK win this race?
Absolutely. Any one of these guys up here can win.
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately.
But I would be happy for him.
And Alex, you're the new guy. These are some pranksters. I'm wondering, how have they treated you?
Be careful.
Yeah, no, it's been super good for me. Like I'm just with the team that they are winners. They've been champions, and I'm learning a lot from them. It's been super fun doing some runs together with them. Like they are always the fastest cars, and I'm able to run with them and to exchange comments with them. So it's been super good for me. There's still a long way to go, but we still have some days of track time to be able to be ready for the race. But yeah, super happy to be part of this amazing team.
We're waiting for after qualifying, Jim.
After qualifying,
next
you're
week
gonna get
you'll get something.
They're good at it, Alex. Do you are you comfortable asking them questions all the time, or do you ever worry like, oh, am I bothering them, or this is a dumb
you can ask
question?
them. I think you can ask them that time all the time, asking them.
They said you blow them up.
Yeah, I do all the time. I do even to Jimmy, to Marcus, to Tony and Scott. Like, yeah, I do all the time, even what they have for breakfast or whatever comes to my mind. Like, I just want to be like them, right?
He's a new version of Dan Weldon. They can't shut up, but it's a good thing.
So if they eat something totally disgusting for breakfast on race day,
100%, I would. If it works, yeah. I mean, it depends, right? Yeah, I would.
be careful. You're walking right into their plans.
I know, but if that's gonna give me a win, I'll do whatever it takes.
Don't give him ideas, Alex.
I know, I have something also in mind.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll get back.
That talks a big game, but he hasn't seen.
Focus.
Okay. Go ahead, Lewis. Morning.
Morning. Marcus, you've been quietly being consistent with strong pace, strong speed. How comfortable and neat is it to be in the position to where maybe you have a strong chance of being good tomorrow, but maybe making it that Fast 9?
Yeah, I think already last year we had a really strong month here, and we had a good qualifying. We were just missing out on the Fast 9, and then in the race I was moving forward quite quickly in the first stint until I had my crash. So we went into this year with high confidence from last year basically, and we've just been building on that. And I think every day we've been strong, and like the others have said, we have had 4 strong cars, which obviously helps because you can work together, try different things. And for me, it's clear. My big goal for now is to be in the Fast 9 this weekend. I think we have every possibility to be there, but it's going to be tough. It's a lot of fast cars out there, so we need to make everything right. But I think, to be honest, we have 4 good chances to have all 4 cars in the Fast 9, and that's going to be the goal. But let's see today and tomorrow. But it's definitely our goal.
Now, Chip, how happy have you been with Marcus's progress this season compared to last?
Like he said, coming into the team again, for the second year, I think they started at a higher level than they did a year ago. It's been such a disappointment. The things that have happened the first couple of races, we've had a couple, just some bad luck things have happened. I mean, we took a guy. We had a guy on one of the tire changers were not that good. We took a tire changer off the 9 car, put him on Marcus's car, and of course the first race he has a problem. I mean, I don't know how things like that happen. So it's just unfortunate. So I think that team is ready to break out in any second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Morning, Bruce.
Howdy. Scott, you were part of the youth movement back in 2001. Now we've got another really impressive group of young talent that's in the series now. 3 of the first 5 winners are first-time winners. What do you think when you look at, all the great young drivers, including one on your own team, and the future that they have in this series?
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. Makes me feel real old. Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's as I mentioned the other day. It's part of evolution, right? There's going to be a changing of the guard at some point, and you know, I think there's been different segments through my career where you've seen, you know, some great talent come through, and champions that we've seen, you know, with Joseph, for example. But you know, it definitely seems like there's quite a rush at the moment, which is huge for the NTT IndyCar series. It's very important for the longevity. You know, for the veterans, you probably don't care to see it too much, but it actually, I've really enjoyed it. You know, it's great to see this talent and you know, people coming from all different parts of the world. And they're all very different in their own way, but also very, you know, fast and you know, we've already seen, you know, as you mentioned, a lot of first-time winners too. So yeah, I think it's great to see. That's all I can say about it. You know, it's inevitable. You just hope you can race and fight with them. You know, which I think, you know, we've seen that from the veterans already this season. So you know, we'll see how this race goes, but it's great to see.
And TK, when you were introduced at the Houston Street Race the first time with Chip, you talked about how great it was to have an opportunity come back, you know, the first time with Chip Ganassi. Now you're getting a second chance at it. Do you believe that you're getting a second chance at doing something great for this team?
100%. And I believe that, you know, nobody's here to do each other favors. I think Chip saw it was a good fit. Let's face it. I mean, Jimmy wanted to do the road street courses and they needed an oval driver. And I think my record speaks for it. And, you know, experience that could help the team also to elevate even the entire team. So it was just a perfect situation. I was at the right place at the right time. And you know, chances, yeah, you create your own chances too. You know what I mean? I don't just believe that you just, you know, I think I've been around for a long time and I could actually add it to the team, and that's why he got it. Chip likes to win, and that's all he cares, and that's why we're all here.
And you've had some great cars here in the past. Do you believe that this may be the best yet?
I mean, every year I've been here, I believed I could win, but if you go back the last 4 years, probably this is my best shot for sure.
Yeah, Scott and Alex, I'm just curious, with this being double points, excuse me, next weekend, are you thinking championship yet? Or has that even crossed your mind? Or is it just you got to get through Indy first and then get in championship mode from there?
For me, it's just 100% about the race. We'll deal with the championship after we get through this month.
For you, Alex?
Yeah, I think so, right? If you win this race, it's going to make your life easier when you move along the championship. So that's all you focus on the race. And I think even if it was not the Indy 500, you just focus about the race. And if the race goes well and you win, everything will come together and will be good. So that's what we're going to try and do.
Thanks. And Chip, Jimmy mentioned last week he'd be interested in getting in a car in an oval, the test. Have you talked to him any about that? Are you trying to get through the month of May before you even have any discussions with Jimmy about that?
Yeah, I haven't had any discussions with him about it in the last 2 weeks or so, or 3 weeks. I mean, he knows that, you know, Jimmy, I mean, I was thinking to myself, I feel kind of bad he's not sitting up here with us because he's a big part of this team. So, yeah, I don't know. It's up to him. You know, he knows the opportunities there. I'm not trying to put TK out of a job or anything. We have to come up with another car or something, you know, so I don't know, but you know, he knows it's there if he wants.
Well, I was going to ask, just because of TK and his abilities here, would you say he wants to next year? Would you expand to 5 cars? Do you have the resources?
I think you'd certainly have to take a look at it. Yeah.
Talking of additional cars, obviously, Chip, you've shown that you're prepared to make bold decisions and cut down.
Speak into the microphone, David.
Sorry,
I can't hear you. What now?
Okay, sorry. Is that better?
That's better.
There we go.
Good, excellent. Karaoke time. If you're prepared to make kind of like bold decisions of cutting down to 2 cars, expanding to 3, expanding to 4, have the performances that you've seen, not just in terms of results, but like how quick you guys were, all of you at Barber, for example, does that justify the expansion back up to 4 cars?
No. What justifies the expansion to 4 cars is having the sponsorship available to do that.
Right.
Okay. And, you know, no Bucks, no Buck Rogers is the old line from Apollo 13, right? So, the greats, they're the right stuff. Okay, thank you, Bruce. You know, I've said for a long time, this is my only business and this is all I do. So it's you know, we live and die on sponsorship alone. It's not like I have businesses like some of my competitors do, that this is their avocation on weekends. This is my vocation. So the expansion and contraction of our business is strictly related to sponsorship. Sure.
And second question, as a former driver, you started this, 5 times, right?
I'm sorry? I can't
Started the race 5 times here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does the evolution of the track and the way it changes with temperature, is there anything that you can relate to your driving times that can still be helpful?
No question. You know, in 1982, my rookie year here, you know, I drew a number that you only had one shot in those days. You had 3 shots in those days, but you had to go when it was time to go. And I remember there were 62 different driver car combinations in 1982. And, you know, so you were not a shoe-in to get in the race by any stretch. And we had, you know, I think the fastest I'd gone up to that point was 194 miles an hour. And the pole was about 207, I recall, or 204 or something. It was a pole. And the number we drew was in the middle of the day. And unfortunately, Gordon Smiley had his accident and the track was shut down for about 3 hours. So when I went to qualify, it was later in the afternoon and it cooled down. And I went 197, almost 198, which is the fastest I'd gone. So, and that was strictly due to, you know, being cooler, you know, at 4 o'clock or something than it was at, you know, 1 o'clock or noon or so. And that helped me then. So, and it just, you know, and if you look as the speeds increase, you know, from the 190, 200 days to, you know, to 205 to 210, you know, each year, 215, 218, 220, 223, 225, you know, it keeps creeping up, 230, you know, wherever. At each one of those increments, the temperature, the wind direction, the barometric pressure, these all have huge effects on the performance of the car, whether it's engine-wise, aerodynamically, track conditions-wise. They all have huge effects on that. So it's the same. It's probably more so now than then, because, like I said, the faster you're going, I think the more finite the changes can be, and the good or bad.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. Morning, Nate.
Morning, Dave. For Chip, following up on Scott's answer about the changing of the guard and it being inevitable, I'm wondering if you could give us like the team owner perspective on that. You've obviously been doing this for more than a quarter century, and you've probably witnessed this before, where young drivers replace the veterans. What's that like from the team owner perspective, the repercussions of that when you have a youth movement kind of occurring and, you know, positioning yourself for the future? I'm sure you feel well positioned with Alex now.
Yeah, I look at it a different way. You know, like Scott said, you know, he said there's youth movements that come along, and he's right. But who did he mention as the youth movement that came along was Newgarden, you know, and because, you know, you guys, the media, I should say, talks about, you know, youth movements, and this isn't the first time there's been a talk about a youth movement. But the fact of the matter is, people come and go at the top levels of the sport, and it's not that often that a champion squirts through like Newgarden. Okay, for instance, it's just not that often. But you know, there's a whole trail of broken dreams in the wake of Newgarden. Okay. And I don't want to name any names, but it's, you know, this isn't the first youth movement that's come along, and so these young people have to realize it's, you know, there's to stay at the top level of motorsport in this world, it takes a lot more than, you know, sure, it's certainly driving ability, but it's a lot of other things too, and they need to understand that. And so, yeah, youth movements come along, but champions endure, and that's what Scott Dixon does. So I don't see any, to hear him say that it may, that Bruce Martin's question or something makes him seem old is like he kind of flicks those things off his shoulder like a flea. Like it's like, come on, there's not one indication of aging in Scott Dixon that I can see, and believe me, I'm looking. Okay. So I don't see any.
Tony's helping me feel younger.
Right. Yeah. He and Jimmy.
Glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I even left my beard like Jimmy so it doesn't look older than the entire team, so a little gray.
Yeah. So, so I think, for these young guys coming along, like Alex and Marcus, it's when you get to the top level of the sport, your career becomes an endurance, you can't be bothered by little week-to-week things along the way you can't get too down when things are bad, and you can't get too high when they're good. You have to endure, and you have to pick your spots and take advantage of those opportunities. You have to pick your opportunities, take advantage of them. You have to brush off the missteps or the mistakes by yourself or the team, and you just have to endure. And that's what makes champions. So if these young people today want to be champions, it's more than just coming out here and, yucking it up with your teammates and going fast in practice, There's more to it than that.
And a couple of days ago, TK was telling us that Jimmy will be like at the track watching his car for the first time. They've seen each other like doing the commercial shoots and everything like that, but this will be the first time that Jimmy's here. So I know he's doing work for us at NBC, and I know he was here for the Grand Prix last week, but do you have any plans for, kind of give Jimmy the tour and, this is Indy, this is the Indy 500 and kind of what it'll be like having him here, I guess, for that?
Yeah, it's like having him anywhere. You know what I mean? The guy, I've said before, the guy comes into our team, and fully realizing we're the champions from last year, and he lifted our team. He lifts us up, and that's what champions do. That's what Joe Montana did when he was around. I'm sure that's what Tom Brady does to his team when he went, he changed teams and lifted them up. And that's what Scott Dixon does around here every week. He lifts us up. And that's what Jimmy Johnson did when he comes in the door. He lifts us up. And I love that feeling. I love what that does for the team. I love what that does for the teammates. And nothing but positive there. So am I planning on giving him a tour around Indianapolis? No. But if he wants one, I'm certainly happy to give him one.
All right, Danny, hang tight. We got time for one, maybe two Zoom questions. Let's go to Kate Davis, who's standing by and monitoring all of that. Hey, Kate.
Hi, Dave. We'll go to Wolfgang Munster in Germany. Wolfgang, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Wolfgang.
Okay, I'm over in Germany, Rennsport Press Agency, Wolfgang Munster. Two questions for Alex. Alex, that's the second year now in the IndyCar business. Before that, you did the Super Formula in Japan. Despite that, you don't have oval races over in Japan. Was it a good preparation for the IndyCar Racing Championship? And question number two, what's the similarities between a Super Japanese car and the IndyCar? I think both are built by Dallara anyway.
Yeah, obviously Super Formula prepared me quite well for IndyCar. It's really different. Like there's nothing like IndyCar. The competitiveness and all the teams and all the drivers are super close. But yeah, for sure prepared me. It's the only series, the only single-seater series alongside IndyCar that has refueling. And that prepared me for race strategies and that stuff. But racing here in America, it's super close every weekend. You can see pole sitters one weekend that start rear in the back the next weekend. So it's a lot harder here. You have street course, road course, and ovals. So yeah, it was a good preparation, but nothing like IndyCar.
Thanks, Wolfgang, for joining us. I also have a question in the chat for TK from Philippe Lessie from TV Cultura. It says, in practice, before you got the ring, what stands between you and a win in the Indy 500? And what should the Brazilian public watch for as they cheer for you in the race? And they would love for you to answer in Portuguese if possible.
Oh, that's going to be good. Sorry, guys. Bom, a gente tem com certeza um carro para ganhar a corrida. Eu acho que o que vai impedir a gente vai ser nós mesmos. A equipe está muito forte. A gente tem, como eu falei, tudo para vencer, mas é uma corrida muito longa. Eu acho que vai ser, com certeza, uma das mais difíceis. Os carros estão muito parecidos, mas a gente está confiante. A equipe está bem, os treinos foram muito bons e eu acho que vai ser muito importante largar entre os 5 primeiros para poder realmente ter uma disputa um pouquinho mais limpa, porque realmente os carros lá atrás estão mais difíceis de guiar.
Thanks, Tony. We'll send it back to you, Dave.
Great. Thanks, Kate. One question here from Danny, then I know you guys have to go. Go ahead.
Chip, you posted a picture of Parnelli Jones on your Twitter account. Can you talk about why that is so important to you? It's the relationship and how you look up to him.
Well, like it's an interesting story about Parnelli and I. I've told this story a bunch of times, so maybe some of you might have heard this, but when I was 5 years old, my father came to an equipment auction, like a heavy equipment auction in Indianapolis here, and he came over and took the tour of the track, and he rode the bus around, and he went to the museum, and he brought home a 8mm film of the 1963 Indy 500, of course, which was the most recent, and Parnelli won, and we had these little Bell and Howell cameras, and I used to blast it against the living room wall. I must have seen that video, that 8mm film. It wasn't a video in those days. Must have seen it 1,000 times, you know. I could tell you anything you want to know about 63. So, you know, and then you kind of, you know, you're 5 years old and you grow up and you like racing and you get into it, you know, and somehow you make it to the Indianapolis 500. And when I came here during my rookie orientation, Parnelli was here. And he, you know, I just thought, Jesus Christ, I met Parnelli Jones. And, you know, if he only knew that, you know, when I was 5 years old, I watched his film, you know, and I think he might have signed off on my rookie orientation. And, you know, he was just one of those guys that hung around and was happy to help you as a new guy coming along. And then, you know, got to be friends with him over the years, and he and my father were friends. And, you know, I just, you know, I obviously knew him and PJ and Paige and just became friends with him over the years. And, you know, and I remember on my 55th birthday, I had my Thanksgiving dinner with him, you know, and I told him that story about, you know, just how interesting something, you know, something you do when you're 5 years old can, you know, maintain through when you're 55 and it, you know, becomes your career. What's the chance of that? You know, what's the chance of watching that film when you're 5 years old and even making it to Indianapolis, let alone, you know, becoming friends with Parnelli and having my Thanksgiving dinner with he and his family. And, you know, so I always see him when they're around, and when we're in California, we try to get together or things. We developed a nice relationship, and he's, you know, he knows all about racing. Believe me, he's as sharp as a tack, and it's great to spend time with him. And, you know, he's my pal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was great to see Parnelli here yesterday.
Yeah.
For sure. I know you spent a lot of time with him, so as did a lot of us. Good luck today, Fast Friday. Good luck this weekend. Chip Ganassi Racing.